Hello, I'm Emma Hayes, and welcome to Channel 41. Tonight, we're diving into a rather complex issue surrounding the recent pardon of Hunter Biden. The New York Times published an article on December 2nd, 2024, questioning whether political pressure influenced the prosecutions against Hunter Biden. The article highlights President Biden's claim of unfair treatment towards his son, along with opinions from legal experts like Eric Holder. It also delves into the specifics of the gun and tax charges. So, Jaylen, considering the information presented in the New York Times piece, what are your initial thoughts on the potential influence of political motivations in these legal proceedings?
Well, Emma, thanks for having me. Look, the New York Times article raises some serious questions. The president's statement claiming political pressure is certainly noteworthy, especially alongside Eric Holder's perspective on the unusual nature of the charges. The details about the gun charge, like the short duration of ownership and lack of criminal use, definitely add another layer to this. It's a tricky situation, balancing the need for impartial justice with the realities of political life.
Jaylen, I appreciate your balanced perspective. The facts presented in the New York Times article do highlight the complexities of this case. The rarity of such prosecutions for similar gun charges, combined with Hunter Biden's subsequent actions to address his personal issues, certainly adds fuel to the debate. The tax case, while less clear-cut, still warrants careful consideration given his repayment of dues. Ultimately, it's crucial to ensure justice is served impartially, regardless of political affiliations. This concludes our discussion on this topic. Thank you for tuning in. Turning to our next story, this National Public Radio article from December 2024, discusses the Supreme Court's skepticism towards challenges to Food and Drug Administration regulations by the vaping industry. The regulations aim to curb youth vaping while allowing some flavored products for adults quitting smoking. The article mentions the potential impact of the upcoming Trump presidency on these regulations. Jaylen, what are your initial thoughts on the FDA's approach to regulating vaping products, balancing public health with individual choice?
Well, Emma, the Food and Drug Administration is in a tough spot, right? They're trying to walk this tightrope between protecting kids from nicotine addiction and, still giving adults options for quitting smoking. It's a tricky balance, and honestly, this back and forth with the vaping industry at the Supreme Court highlights just how complex this issue is. The 2009 law gives the FDA a mandate, but the vaping companies are saying the FDA is being arbitrary. It's a messy situation.
Jaylen, I agree that the Food and Drug Administration is in a difficult position. The agency has to consider the public health implications of vaping, especially for young people, while also acknowledging the potential benefits for adult smokers trying to quit. The Supreme Court case and the potential policy shift under the incoming Trump administration add further complexity. It's a delicate balancing act, and the FDA's decisions will have significant consequences for both public health and the vaping industry. It will be interesting to see how this plays out, considering all the factors at play. This concludes our discussion on this topic. So, turning to our next story, the Department of Defense report published on Monday, December 2024, by the Department of Defense details additional security assistance for Ukraine. This is remarkably the 71st tranche of equipment provided since August 2021. This package, valued at $725 million, includes munitions for NASAMS, or National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile Systems, Stinger missiles, and a variety of other defensive and offensive equipment. Jaylen, what are your initial thoughts on the extent of this assistance package?
Well, Emma, thanks for that summary. This 71st tranche really underscores the ongoing commitment to supporting Ukraine. It's a substantial package, covering a broad spectrum of needs, from air defense with those NASAMS and Stinger missiles to ground-based combat with HIMARS and anti-armor systems. The inclusion of equipment for protecting critical national infrastructure is also a key element, highlighting the multifaceted nature of this aid.
Precisely, Jaylen. The Biden administration's commitment, demonstrated through this 71st tranche, is indeed substantial. The range of equipment provided, from air defense systems like NASAMS and Stinger missiles to ground combat resources such as HIMARS and anti-armor systems, indicates a comprehensive approach to bolstering Ukraine's defense capabilities. Furthermore, the inclusion of equipment to protect critical national infrastructure underscores the long-term strategic view of this aid package. This sustained support speaks volumes about the administration's dedication to Ukraine's security in the face of ongoing challenges. Turning to our next story, the BBC reports that France's government is facing potential collapse. Prime Minister Michel Barnier invoked special powers to pass the budget, bypassing parliament. This has triggered opposition parties to call for a no-confidence vote. Barnier says this was necessary to address the country's financial situation, but critics argue it's undemocratic. This situation stems from a hung parliament following snap elections called by President Macron. The BBC quotes a French member of parliament describing the situation as a deep, huge political crisis. Jaylen, what are your thoughts on the potential implications of this political instability for France and its relationship with the European Union?
Well, Emma, this situation in France is definitely concerning. The political instability, as highlighted by the BBC's report, could have some serious repercussions. France plays a key role in the European Union, and internal political struggles can impact its ability to effectively engage in European Union affairs. It's a delicate balancing act, you see. A weakened French government might struggle to push forward its agenda within the European Union, potentially affecting policy decisions and overall European Union stability. The potential ripple effect is something to keep a close eye on, I'd say.
Jaylen, I agree that the instability in France, as reported by the BBC, could significantly impact the European Union's dynamics. France's role is crucial, and a weakened government could affect its influence on European Union policy. The potential for a ripple effect across the European Union is indeed something to watch closely. A prolonged crisis could also affect France's economic stability, further complicating the situation. This political uncertainty adds another layer of complexity to the already intricate web of European Union politics. Turning to our next story, CalMatters reports that top California Democrats are pledging to tackle affordability challenges alongside preparing for potential policy clashes with the incoming Trump administration. The article, published on December 2, 2024, highlights that state legislative leaders are emphasizing their commitment to lowering living costs by focusing on housing, energy, and infrastructure. Jaylen, what are your initial thoughts on balancing these domestic priorities with the anticipated legal battles against the new administration?
Well, Emma, it's a bit of a tightrope walk, isn't it? The CalMatters article clearly shows that California Democrats are feeling the pressure on affordability. They're talking about housing, energy, infrastructure, all key to making life less expensive. But, as the article mentions, a significant chunk of their energy might get diverted to legal battles with the Trump administration. So, the question becomes, can they effectively juggle both? Can they fight on the legal front while simultaneously delivering on these bread and butter issues? It's a real challenge.
Well, Jaylen, you're spot on about the balancing act. The CalMatters article clearly points out that affordability is a major concern, and the Democrats are talking about practical steps to address it. But, like you said, the potential legal battles with the Trump administration could be a major distraction. The big question is whether they can truly deliver on both fronts. It's a tough situation, and only time will tell how they manage it. We, at Channel 41, will definitely be keeping a close eye on this. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth analysis and updates.